here to grade Judge Gorsuch on the second day of these hearings that seem to go on forever, political guru and our good friend Barry Nussbaum. Barry, good to see you.
Great to be here, Dr. G.
All right, B, I want to play more of an exchange between Durbin and Gorsuch. The Democrats dug up a female student from one of his legal ethics classes who says he asked them an inappropriate question during a class where I guess they were all focused on becoming snowflakes. Watch.
I think you know why I'm asking these questions.
No, this one I don't.
The reason I'm asking is because about your views on pregnancy women in the workplace is because two of your former students from legal ethics and professionalism class last spring wrote to this committee. So I just want to ask you to confirm. Did you ask your students in class that day to raise their hands if they knew of a woman who had taken maternity benefits from a company and then left the company after having a baby?
No, Senator, and I'd be delighted to actually clear this up.
Please.
Because the first I heard of this was the night before my confirmation hearing. One of the chapters in the book confronts lawyers with some harsh realities that they're about to face when they enter the practice of law. There is one problem in the book, and I'd be happy to share with you the book and the teacher's manual so you can see for yourself, Senator. And Senator, I do ask for a show of hands, not about the question you asked, but about the following question. And I ask it of everybody. How many of you have had questions like this asked of you in the employment environment? An inappropriate question about your family planning. And I am shocked every year, Senator, how many young women raise their hand. It's disturbing to me. I knew this stuff happened when my mom was a young practicing lawyer, graduating law school in the 1960s. Thank you for the opportunity to clarify that, Senator.
Okay, but B, I'm just going to say it. Why should you and I pay for someone's family planning choices in the workplace? I don't get that. I really don't even understand that. I felt like in some cases his dodges were more than I'm comfortable with as a conservative. How did you feel?
I think that the real issue at hand here is a confusion among the senators between policy and the law. In other words, there were such long-winded introductions that by the time they got to whatever the question was, you could tell, Dr. G, that they had just made a policy statement, and when I say they, I mean the Democratic senators, of one of the platforms from the Democratic Party ticket from 2016. And then came the question. So they were so loaded up with political policy that there were very few questions, in fairness, that Gorsuch could have answered as a judge. Judges don't make law. They interpret the law. The legislators make the law, and it's his job to constitutionally interpret it. So when you have these long-winded hypotheticals that have to do with public policy or political policy, Gorsuch was really well done to say, I'm not going to answer it because I can't answer it because there is no judicial answer that's appropriate. So I thought that, I'm sure the New York Times tomorrow is going to say Gorsuch evaded questions relentlessly, but in reality, he's not supposed to give his personal opinion. His personal opinion's irrelevant as a judge. What he thinks at home and discusses with his wife or at his church or socially is irrelevant.
But and you're right, and Barry, that's an important distinction that I don't think most of the folks there wanted to make today. One of the things on the forefront of people's minds is, of course, how he would rule in the Roe versus Wade case that we all know, was founded on information that we've surpassed at this point. We know, some of the reasons that they decided as they did initially in Roe versus Wade, we have more data on now. We know that babies, for example, can survive much earlier. We know that post-birth abortions are committed on a regular basis now. And so, but he did not give much on that at all, did he?
No. In fact, I thought his answer was astounding. He was asked if first of all, he was asked, did the president ask him about Roe v. Wade and how he would rule on it? And he said no, he was not asked that question. And if he was asked that question, he would have gotten up and walked out the door, and he was firm on it. In other words, you are not allowed to ask a judge what his personal opinion is, number one, and number two, even though they do ask that quite frequently, and number two, how he would rule. Because as Gorsuch was really clear to explain over and over and over again today, each specific case that the court hears is fact-centric. And so they have to interpret the facts, apply it to the law, and that doesn't just mean the legislative law, but the previous case law, and then make a decision. So, when there's question after question with these specifics about facts, like my favorite is ex-comedian, and I didn't think he was funny when he was a professional comedian, senator from Minnesota, pounding on him, Al Franken, and then opining that Gorsuch's answers were not appropriate and that the previous court's decisions were wrong. I think Gorsuch was great just to sit there and listen to the senators make goofy fools out of themselves.
It had to be tough. It had to be tough. I wish we had more time with you. As always, Barry.